Welcome to This and That Northwest.
My name is Priscilla Espinoza Ellis, and I'm originally from District 1 of the Gila River Indian Community here in Arizona. And we're known as the Akima Autumn, which means river people. We have 7 districts, and in the districts are different villages. I was from Blackwater, and other communities we have Saltanik, Casa Blanca, Santan, and then there's different villages, Sweetwater. They're all different names, but they're all little villages. But we're one nation. We're all Pima. What I grew up in, it was called a bith, which is dirt home. That's what my home was, dirt, made out of dirt, floor was dirt, and we used everything from the desert to build that home. I was born in Sacaton, which is sort of like the capital of our community. I was born in 1948. And I lived there until the age of 5. But I was one of the very lucky ones that was able to enjoy the Gila River the way it was. It used to run from District 1 all the way to District 7. Our community was so flush with vegetation, cottonwood trees. We had wildlife were here. We had beaver, we had fish, and sometimes it would run clear and other times it run muddy. But it was here and you could hear it. And that was a gathering place where different people would come on the boat, because it was so hot here. And we'd go down there, and Dad and Mom would cook dinner there. We had relatives across waving. It was like a gathering of people. We would find out news of something happened on this side of the river, and it was a wonderful time. Vegetation, gardens. My grandfather had gardens. We had crops of corn for families, and then our crop was sugarcane. We call it ganyu in our native tongue. We had a huge garden, like an acre of squash, watermelons, and cantaloupe, and chilies, and tomatoes that we grew from our own, seeds from the Sears catalog. After the years had gone by, we started selling the food for money, of course. We had to survive. The Gila River Farms, which is by our tribe, they had oranges growing. They would ship them to Japan. And our cotton, we sold to the mills over here in town. I used to go with my grandpa. We sold it for money. He would grow fields of cotton. It was Pima cotton. They made Pima cotton from Egyptian cotton and the one that we had. So our cotton grew really big, and that's why it's called Pima cotton. So that's how we made a living. So we were exporting. But, that was a time before when the water started dwindling. Went upstream, all the settlers started taking the water, and eventually we were cut off. And my grandfather told me, this is what's going to happen. Everything's going to die, and the desert's going to go back to being the desert. And you would never know driving through a reservation, like for yourself coming, what is this? Look at these people. But we had a river here, and it was so beautiful. And our ancestors had to do to keep our survival was cut down the mesquite tree and sell it. And if you come around here and other non-natives don't know about the mesquite tree, I've had people say, it's just a tree. But what I see in that tree is our people. It is shelter, it's food, it's medicine, it's cooking, and all the other elements that it takes in one tree. Feeding the horses, making bread, and making cookies. But in a mesquite tree, people, outsiders would not know that tree gave our family life. It was time for picking. We would get some, then we invite whoever wanted to come. We shared. There was no stealing, there was no crime, that was so clean. And people would bring their wagons, everybody's out in the cornfield, and then we build a big fire and throw the mesquite in there till it turned to coal, then just throw the corn in there. And then we'd have a big circle and people would come gather and would eat a fellowship. And everybody shared. One person would harvest melon, people would know it's time for melon, so we'll go there. And one person would kill a cow, big cow, or a pig. We shared everything. We didn't go to the store for our meat. We didn't go to the store for any of that. We used our land. We lived off the rabbit and whatever meat we found out here, quail, doves. That was our way of surviving with pigs and domesticated. We had chickens, we had eggs, and we made our own soap, and we made our own the lard from the pig, we make soap from that. So we were self-sufficient. what happened was people start settling here upstream from us. Farmers and people that came to settle the country, they settled upstream from our reservation. Of course, then they started farming themselves, and so they start cutting it off. So eventually our people start losing. There was no water coming through the river anymore. And then they built the Hoover Dam. And that's what happened. They cut off the water completely. And then we, as a people, had to go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Agriculture, Sacaton, to ask for some water. We would have to go sign papers. It was either a yay or a nay. And my grandfather didn't have a car. We didn't have a car. So he would take his horse and go over there and talk to them and ask for so much water for his farm. And all the people had to do the same thing. We had one water pump in our district where people would gather, and it was from the ground, and they would just pump it, and we fill up big containers of water to take home. That's how bad it got. It's been 14 years. We fought the United States to get our water rights back, and we accomplished it. But it took years and years and years and years and years. So finally we have a water rights celebration because we won our water back. Our tribe was known as the runners. Everybody was thin, running from village to village. And then that all changed, as you well know, with the history. Our people, the Pima Indians, are known for their obesity. They're known for the highest in the world diabetes. That's sad. When you hear fried bread, it's not our traditional food. We didn't have flour. We had corn from the cornfields. That's what we had. But they introduced flour, so the Navajo people are the ones that started saying, what are we going to do with this? What is this? So they start putting it together, made the fried bread. The commodities changed everybody. My dad was in World War II. He fought Japan, and he was a paratrooper. He was a sergeant in 1st Airborne, very well-known group, the Angels. When he came back, it's when my grandfather built that home in the 40s for us. He built this home out of wood on one side, but mud on the other. We had no running water, no paved roads. Everything was dirt, nothing. So if you were out there without the lights, you couldn't see your hand. Just the beauty of the sky. It was wonderful. The hu'ukam means they're gone away, that word hu'ukam. That was ancestors. And we don't know what happened to them, they went away, but we're descendants of that tribe. The hu'ukam are the ones that were known for the irrigation. They irrigated the land. They didn't have shovels, so they used sticks. To this day, we have brand new canals, but they're not straight. What they did was just great. They follow the ancestral paths, so they're all crooked. I thought that was awesome. When the reservation started, the government started placing people in reservations. For us, they said, well, they've been here. They have been good to us. Because we were here when the gold mine rush was in California, so traders will come through our land, and we will feed them, and we'll give them whatever. They were known as kind farmers. People liked us. So when the government said, hey, they weren't fighting us, they're kind people, so we're going to let them stay where they're at. So they bounded off, and we had more land over there, way over at Phoenix and Chandler and all that. That was our land, but government cut it off and put us on this side, gave us this land, the boundaries that we're in now. That was allotted to us as a people. They recognized us as a good, friendly people, so they gave us that. And I hate to say this, but our tribe was the first to assimilate because we liked what we saw. Our ancestors liked what the farmers, the miners gave us. They taught us how to trade. We want that. They'll give us blankets or whatever. So our people started saying, hey, we like the way that, they're doing, so let's try to be like them. And that was sad because from then on, our language started fading. Our ancestors started assimilating to their way, and we're a sovereign nation. We have our own government. We have our own our policies. but we base it on the colonizers, you know. So